In this video, you will listen to the English explanation of the poem Geography Lesson by Julfikar Ghosh from Class 8 English textbook Honeydew. Let's read the first stanza. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had dwelt the way it had, seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. Let's go through the word meanings. Jet is an aeroplane. Sprang means moved up like a spring. Scaled means measured. Now, the explanation of the first stanza. When the jet rose fast into the sky, the poet saw below him. He could understand why the city had grown in a haphazard way. From that height, the city looked small. A mile of the ground looked as small as 6 inches. Second stanza. There seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned, and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. Word meanings. Seemed means appeared. Inevitability means the fact that it had to happen. Haphazard, random or unplanned. Unplanned means without any planning. Style means pattern. The explanation of the stanza now. The jet went up into the sky. Looking below, one could see the inevitable way in which the city had dwelt. It certainly had a logic, but on the earth it seemed unplanned and without any pattern. So the poet wants to say that on the earth one cannot have the whole view. One can see only a part at a time. So the logic of geography cannot be understood on the earth. Third stanza. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. The meaning of valleys is the low land between two mountains or hills, which often has a river flowing through it, populated, filled with people. Now, the explanation of the stanza. The jet plane went higher up, 10,000 feet in the sky. Looking below at the country, one could clearly see why the cities in the country had dwelt along the rivers. It was natural because people need water. In the same way, from that height, the poet could see why people had settled in valleys for the same reason as they needed water. Fourth stanza. The logic of geography that land and water attracted man was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. Meanings. Logic means a sensible reasoning. Attracted means charmed. Delineated means shown or described. Now, the explanation of the stanza. From the height of 10,000 feet in the jet plane, the poet observed the country. He understood the reasoning of geography. It was that people settled where land and water were easily available. This lesson seemed clearly written or described. Fifth stanza. When the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. But it was difficult to understand. Word meanings. Rose, went up. Round, circular in shape. Explanation of the stanza. The poet's jet plane went higher into the sky. It rose 6 miles up the ground. Now the earth seemed round as he had learned in geography. It was also shown that the water covers the better part of the earth, that there is more water than the land. So sea had an area larger than the land. However, there was something which he could not understand. Sixth stanza. That the men on the earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. Meanings: causes means reasons, across means from one side to the other side. Now, the explanation of the stanza. From high in the sky, the poet understood the logic of geography. However, he could not understand the logic of human hatred for each other. He could not understand why they had decided to live separately. Why were there walls across the cities? Why do people want to kill each other? It was one puzzle which the poet could not solve from that height.